Hey everybody, welcome into Kayak Bass Adventures. As you know, we're always looking for the latest and greatest technology in kayak fishing. I'm here right now with Gene Eisman from Hydrowave. Gene, welcome to Kayak Bass Adventures, and thanks for hanging out with me.
Oh, you bet. Thank you.
Hey Gene, tell me a little bit about how you got started with Hydrowave.
Well, I got started, basically because I fish pretty much 90 to 100 days a year and everything.
Absolutely.
And I was just thinking about the fact that fish, are going to react to sound, and it just kept puzzling me why no one's really invented a fish call.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at your website, and there was some really, really cool stuff on there. Tell me a little bit about how this works in the water.
Well, what it is, it's an omnidirectional speaker that goes in the water, and it's free floating, so there's no distortion in the sound at all. But basically, it's producing sounds of bass eating. And when bass eat, they have distinct gill flares and swim bladder crunches, and then their crushers crush the bait, and it really sounds like you're eating potato chips.
Wow.
So what we've done is produce an underwater speaker, and we've produced all those sounds that go into the Hydrowave, and they mimic the underwater environment.
Wow, okay. Now, you've downsized the unit quite a bit, right?
Yeah, correct. Our original unit was made for the bass boat and everything, and there was a huge demand, in the kayak world. It's just growing so fast, so we kind of put our heads together and came up with a smaller unit that we simply called the Mini because we couldn't come up with a better name.
Absolutely. Well, I know I'm looking forward to it in my Pro Angler 14, strapping one on and getting out there and seeing the difference. Now, you've got a lot of elite bass pros that swear by this. Just name a few that are using the product right now.
Well, Kevin Van Dam's one of our owners.
Okay.
And every Elite Series guys has one. I mean, you don't compete in a tournament without one. You just can't have that extra edge or give anyone an extra edge. And even if it's one bass a day that you cull because you have one, it's big time when you're fishing for $100,000. They're at the Classic for $500,000. So they don't go without it.
Absolutely. Now, Gene, you're on the professional tour, correct?
I fish the Bassmaster Opens and I fish the FLW Ever Starts, so I'm kind of bush leaguing it, but I've had some success. So,
well, you're one step above the local kayak tournament scene where I'm at, so it's always great to meet with new people and talk about new technologies. And I guess one of the things about what is the Mini going to sell for in the dealership, so these guys out there with kayaks can know what they're going to spend and just kind of how it's going to work for them financially.
Oh, sure. Well, our regular units are $389. What we've done is develop the Mini to be at a much better price point at $139, and it's got all the capabilities of the regular Hydrowave. It's just more compact and at a better price range.
That's awesome. I'm really psyched about this because I know I'm going to get it, and I know I'm going to tear it up just because, fishing for me is superstition, and I always feel like I've got to have the latest and greatest. But to have the latest and greatest that's actually proven by Kevin Van Dam and other elite pros will be one more thing to add to my tool belt. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. One more question I have for you is, what's your favorite type of fishing?
I like power fishing. I like getting my troll motor on high and going down the bank. I really believe, that if I'm moving, I'm going to run across 5 active fish in a day. I don't care how cold it is or how hot it is. There's going to be 5 active fish. So that's mainly what I do. But I shake it up. You have to. So.
Right on. Well, I'm a power fisherman myself, and there's a lot of difference between standing on the deck of a really cool bass boat and then sitting in the cockpit of a kayak. Sometimes in the kayak world we don't have enough leverage to put on a fish, and that's where some of the innovations in kayak products have come so far in just a very, very short time. And I know the Hydrowave is just the next innovation to come to kayak fishing. Gene, one last question. Everybody's into fitness now. You see all the guys from, back in the day with Jimmy Houston and Roland Martin. Those guys were not in the top end of fitness, but every time I look at bass fishing on these elite guys, man, even the FLW guys, they're all putting a lot of emphasis in their fitness. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, if you're going to be an elite fisherman or compete at, or want to compete at that level, you have to bring every component. And when I say an elite fisherman, there's more to being the best fisherman there. You have to have the mental side and the physical side, I think, make up 60% of it, and 40% of it's your fishing ability. You're out there all day. Obviously, you look at golf and look at Tiger Woods, what he brought to golf as far as physical fitness. I work out every day, and I work out for my physical fitness for fishing.
Sure.
And you're just less tired, less fatigue on your back, and you get those young guys now coming in with flat board stomachs and bringing a mental game that you just got to bring yourself up to that. And you're seeing more and more elite guys, Aaron Martins and Kevin Van Dam. Jeff Creed's even in shape this year. So,
oh, wow. Hey, it can happen for anybody then.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So, yeah, I think it's a big part of the game. And I think this is the recreational kayak market's bringing a new dimension to that, too.
Well, absolutely. What do you think it's going to take for the kayak to really go mainstream and for the kayak tournament series to get larger? I mean, is it just going to be more people in kayaks, or is there some kind of word of advice you could give for those that run tournament trails for kayaks, how to grow that segment of the market at all?
You know, I think it's gaining a lot of traction right now, and I think that was key, getting to that traction point. I'm seeing them everywhere now, when before it was just kind of, a boat with a hole in it.
Right.
Now you got graphs on it and troll or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. You got propel systems, you got Mirage drives, you got everything more than paddles these days, and that's what's making the difference, because people that don't have the financial wherewithal to go out and buy the $80,000 bass boat can go for the top of the line and spend $2,000 or $3,000 and really have a really excellent fishing kayak. So, Gene, thanks for the time, man. I'm excited for Hydrowave and excited to test it out and to really put some fish in the boat. So, again, great meeting you, and thanks for the time, buddy.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Hey, can you get a picture of Gene and I so I can throw that up on the